and welcome to my channel. My name's Shell and I'm losing weight using the Slimming World plan. Welcome if you're a new watcher to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber, and thank you for all my lovely comments and support that I get, and thank you if you do a video that I watch for all the information and encouragement I get from your videos too. I hope everybody's had a good week. I've got good news, bad news and hopeful news. So as always, I always think start with the good news. So this week on my plan, I carried on what I was doing from the week before. Last week I put on ½ pound, and that was because I decided the week before to up my free food a little bit and lower the speed food. So just swap out a little bit of free food for speed food, because I found when I was doing some exercises, when I was on the treadmill, I just felt like I was running out of energy. So I felt that the amount of the speedy foods had just maybe crept up a bit too much. And I think the week before that as well, it had been very hot, I hadn't been exercising, and I may be carrying a bit of water, or for whatever reason, but I had stuck to plan 100% and I had put on ½ pound. I was kind of tempted to think, oh, it hasn't worked, or I'll go back to what I was doing before. But I held my nerve and decided to do it for another week, this time with doing the exercises and it not being so hot. And this week I lost £2. So I was really pleased with that. And I think a little bit of that might have been maybe some water loss, because I do tend to carry some water when it's hot. So some of that could have been a bit of water loss left over from the week before. I'm so pleased with how my journey's going. I've been doing this now for about 4 months, and I started this time at Slimming World at 11 stone 9.5, and now I'm down to 9 stone 5. So that's a loss of 2 stones 4.5. So I'm starting to creep up on my 2.5 stone award, which is, so I'm quite excited about that. I didn't seem to be very excited about my awards at the beginning, but now I suppose because they're getting maybe a bit harder to obtain and I'm getting further along, they seem to be getting a bit more exciting. In my weight loss journey overall, I've lost now 4 stones 3 pounds, and that is a huge difference when I start to look back on how I used to feel and how I feel now. It's utterly different. And it's not been very difficult. I mean, I've had the odd day where it's been a struggle. I think everybody does, especially if you come from a very bad binge eating background. I'm not sure, maybe you can get over that. I don't know whether it'll always be with you, or, well, I don't know. But I have had that on several days, but only, I mean, I could count the amount of times that's happened on one hand really, and it's never been caused by hunger or food issues. It's always been caused by something that's happened that's caused me to be anxious, and then my default thing is always to turn to food. If I get really stressed and anxious about something, that's when, as they call it, the food noise starts, and that's never going to be fixed with food. If it was caused by hunger, it would be easy to fix because you go and eat something and you'd feel fine. But when it's caused by anxiety, I mean, I could eat my body weight in cake and at the end of it I would feel exactly the same. It wouldn't have fixed anything. But at the time, I find that very hard to realise, and I still want to go and eat the food. But normally when I get to that state, I always catastrophise. I think, well, that's it, the diet's over, I shouldn't be feeling like this, I can't cope, I've got to eat something, there's nothing else I can do. Because I really do feel at the time that I can't not eat. But having had that in the last 4 months a few times, and actually, I mean, I have had to white knuckle my way through it a little bit and come out the other side, and then within a day or two gone back to feeling normal again. I think I'm beginning to realise that it won't last forever. I don't normally manage to get through it without going completely off plan and just eating. But having done it 2 or 3 times now, maybe even 3 or 4 times in the last few months, I am beginning to realise that it's not going to last forever, and it will get better. And I am realising now that food really isn't going to sort it out. It's just a case of trying to do things to stay calm and waiting to get to the other side. And people have said before that the more times you can do that, the less of an effect that these episodes have. Now, I have no idea whether that's true or whether that's for different people, I don't know. But I'm hoping that over time, if I can keep going and keep avoiding these traps, that bit by bit I will begin to feel that they're not quite as a catastrophe as they feel still now. So that's what's happening in my weight journey so far. Now, this week, we're on to the bad news. I went to group and we had the new changes, which I know a lot of people have had already. We're very late in getting them. I believe the official rollout isn't till August, but most of the consultants are starting early. My consultant's lovely. We really like her. She's the best consultant we've had for such a long time. But unfortunately, she's not yet permanent, so we're really hoping that she'll stay. She said she likes the class and that she wants to stay, but of course she'd say that anyway, but I hope she means it, because we really like having her. She's a great consultant. She's a huge help to me. She never leaves me anywhere on my own. She'd never see me not be able to get out of class or get up to the weigh desk. And when there's the cookbooks are on offer with the countdown, she always makes sure that I've got the CD copy at the same time everybody's got their print copies. She's very good, and she's always there. If you ever text her, she always texts back. She's a great consultant, and she's an older lady. She's about 60, about my age. And I find her she's very motherly. She's that type. Some of them are very flamboyant, but she is the motherly type who's been where you are, and she knows what to do, and she's always got good advice to offer. And she does walk the walk as well as talk the talk. She's I think she's a Target member, I'm not sure, but she's if she's not, she must be fairly close. So I got to group on Tuesday. I had to walk down on my own this time. Andy couldn't come with me, so I was standing outside texting him to say I'd got there, because I let him know when I've arrived so that he doesn't need to worry after that, and then I let him know when I'm setting off to come home so that he knows when to expect me or when to worry that I haven't turned up. So I was standing outside doing my text message when a couple came around the corner that sit near to me, and as soon as they saw me, it's, "Hi Michelle, can we take you in?" So they took me in and up to the desk, and I was helped all the way through by various people and then to my chair, because the group is so lovely, we're so close and we all know each other. I think pretty much everybody there has been going all the 4 months I've been there and before. And we really celebrate. We're quite noisy and vocal. For example, when one lady hadn't lost for 2 weeks and she'd been sticking to plan, when she did lose, everyone was up and cheering and whooping and stamping their feet. And sometimes when you come out of there, it's a real party atmosphere. Sometimes we're all, I don't know, we just seem to be buzzing, and it's really, everyone's so, we just really get into it, we do lots of clapping and cheering, and we really boost each other on what's happening. And as we go around the room, we talk a little bit about what's going on. Obviously you say, well, next week I'm going on holiday, or my daughter's getting married, different things, so you know what's happening in people's lives. Another 2 ladies there have started doing the couch to 5k, so we've been finding out how they've been getting on, because they've only been doing it a few weeks. And you know something about everybody in there, what's happening in their lives and how it affects their weight loss journey. But this week when we went, it was the new format, and we sat down and the consultant started the meeting by saying who had lost, say, a pound. So she'd say, so-and-so and, Mary Mungo and Midge have lost a pound, Peter, Paul and Mary have lost 3 pounds, and she just went through quickly like that. And after each little announcement was little clap, very subdued little clap. And then she said, I've got one award to give out, which she gave to a newish member. And she asked the newish member how their eating habits had changed in the last couple of weeks. So they described 2 or 3 things that had changed. And that was it. She said, well, now we're going to do the community news. So we heard what was in the podcast and what was on the website. And then we went into looking at the book where it says about pub food and how to swap pub food. I mean, I know it's good to go over things, and I do think that, especially for new members, it's good. But I think really now we do know that you're better off having a baked potato than chips, have a salad, rather than something else. And I think most of us know to have boiled rice rather than fried rice. So I know it's good to go over it, but I must admit I was kind of drifting off a bit. And then at the end of that small talk, she said, well, has that been helpful to anybody? And there was just a sort of silence. And she said, well, I hope that's helped some people. And it was a good talk, as that kind of talk goes. And a couple of us mumbled yes. And she said, well, now we'll do the raffle and the Slimmer of the Week. And very, very early, we finished incredibly early, that was it, over. So nobody in the entire group, apart from the one person that had won the Half Stone Award, nobody got to say a single word. Now, we all know each other, but as time goes on, if nobody in class speaks, we're going to be a group of strangers. We won't even know who's there or what's going on in their life. It'll just be a list of this person lost £2, £3, £4. We probably won't know anything about them, because I just couldn't believe that nobody got to speak. Nobody got to say a single word. You could have heard a pin drop for the whole meeting, and then when it was finished, everybody just sidled out very early. So I don't know. I was very disappointed in the whole affair. I'm not a big person for talking up in class. If everyone's talking at once, I will just hang back. And so before the meeting starts, I think some people can get to know each other, but I don't find that bit is the time when I do get to know people, because other people, they can go off, I've noticed they go off to the kitchen to make drinks and they get talking in there. Or often people will talk over the class, something will happen that'll spark off a little conversation and people are talking. I don't find that very easy to join in, because people are talking from all corners of the room, and I just don't find that easy. And of course when I go in, I'm put in my chair, wherever it is. Well, I sit in the same chair every week now. Everyone at our group sits in the same chair every week, which I like because I know where everybody is, so I can turn to people and talk to them. But when I'm in my chair, that's it. I'm not going anywhere else. I stay there till the meeting's finished. So I haven't got the opportunity to get up and go and talk to this person, that person, go over to the desk and browse what's for sale and talk to other people that way, or talk to people when I go up and get the raffle tickets, because my raffle tickets are brought over to me. So all the opportunities I have to hear people and to start interacting with them is when we go around the room to talk to everybody. Also, I think that gives other people an opportunity to get to know me, because although I don't always find it easy being in the class, I'm sure that the whole class, it's not usual to have a disabled person in your class, and if you do have one, I think most people would like to get to know you a bit so that they know that you're approachable. People don't know often how to talk to a disabled person, and why should they? You don't talk to a disabled person every day. Different disabled people have got different needs. And at first, usually when I join a class, I find people avoid me quite a bit, and it's not because they don't want to have anything to do with me, it's just that they're worried about doing the wrong thing, about offering the wrong help. They don't know how to start a conversation with you. But once you've been in group for a bit and you've spoken out, people then, they know that they can approach you and talk to you, they can think of something to talk to you about. I mean, if we don't know anything about anybody, I don't know how I would start a conversation with somebody, because the people that sit around me, I know what I can talk to them about. I can turn around and say to the person, the lady that sits with me, how's your dog doing? How did it get on at the vet's? Or the people behind me, how did your holiday go? Or different things, are you getting ready for the wedding? But if I didn't know anything about them, I'm not sure I'd know how to, they just lean over and say, hello, would you talk to me? I don't know. I just I feel that the whole community would be lost. We're a group, we go to group, we don't go to class to hear something that we know. We go to group to hear other people's experiences and hear what our consultant advises them, so that we can learn from what they know. Anyway, they are my thoughts on group. I didn't think, if I'd have weighed myself at home and looked at those pages on eating in a pub at home in my book, I don't think I would have got anything, I don't think I would have missed out on anything that I got from group, which is a shame. Now, that's the good news, that's the bad news. Now, the hopeful news is that, as I said, my consultant is really good. She's very approachable, and the morning after, I texted her to say, I tried to be diplomatic, and I texted her to say what I thought of group, and that I thought that we would become just a room of strangers that didn't know anything about each other, and that I thought that that would be the main point of group L.O.S.E.R.S. And I asked her if we could possibly include somehow some participation by the members, even if she asked just generally, how is everyone getting on, something, so that we could all talk. And to be fair, she rang me back that afternoon. She rang back and we had a really good long conversation about it, and she said that she was really pleased that I texted, because she wanted to know what people felt about the group. I didn't feel anybody else had texted, so whether it's just me that doesn't like the new format, or whether other people just haven't done it yet, or whether they might not do it, I don't know, but I think I was the only person that texted so far, and we did have a good chat, and she agreed that she felt herself that something had been lost from the group, and she did say that she can, to a certain extent, change the format, and that she thought that, yes, she agreed that she thought that we needed to have some participation by the members. So next week she said that she would try and include that. So although I felt this group was terrible, it was absolutely, I was gutted on the way home, I think that perhaps next week might be a better group. And it could be that just the shock of the first one, maybe by that time we'll have all had a chance to think about it, and she may even ask us next week perhaps how we feel about it. But I'll have to wait and see. So my hopeful news is that I'm going to hold out and see what happens next week, because I don't see going forward this group being what I want. It's going to have to change a bit, at least for some of us to be able to speak. I think that that's the way it's going to have to go, otherwise I'm not really going to get much out of it. Oh, so I don't like change anyway. I know Byron said that sometimes when you change things, the automatic reaction is to fear it, and and I do tend to fear change and get it out of all proportion. I like things the way they are. It's taken me a long time to find a group where I feel so comfortable, and a consultant that I feel so comfortable with. And having found that, and because I found it, I'm doing so well with it, I don't want to lose it, and I don't want it to change. And I'm not sure why they've changed it, because I think our group like being happy clappy. I don't think it's a bad thing. We love clapping and cheering and jumping about, and we get really into it, and we have a good time, and we often come away from there, by the time we come out there, there's a lot of noise and everybody's buzzing, and we all feel, I don't know, like revved up for the week to come. But when we came out from that class on Tuesday, it just fizzled out and everybody just sloped off. And it was sad. It was really sad. So we'll see what happens next week. I just bought a countdown last week and it would be added on. I've got 3 weeks left of this countdown and now I've got another 6 weeks added on. So I've got 9 weeks that I've paid for, and I'm hoping within those 9 weeks I'll at least know what the group format is going to be. I don't want to give up my group. I think pretty much even if it stayed like that, I would at least go and get weighed. I'm not sure whether I would stay to group, but I think I would still continue to go and get weighed, at least. Because there's something gets me going more, going down there and getting weighed than it does getting weighed up here on my own scales, even though it would be the same thing. It would still mean more to me to lose on their scales than it would for me to lose on mine. I don't know why that is, I have no idea. Oh, anyway, that's the news, and I know I haven't heard anybody go to group with the changes so far and say, oh, it was great. I really like this new format. This is going to suit me down to the ground. I don't think I've heard anybody say that. And I don't think Slimming World should really be concentrating on trying to get a new, younger audience in. I don't think that younger people would go to slimming groups anymore. They seem to be a bit of an old-fashioned concept now. Perhaps more aimed at my age group. Most people in my class are my age group, and I think that's who they should be aiming at, to get more of those people in, because the young people have got different ideas. They do online things, and they've got busy lives. They've got different options. A lot of them, haven't got the money to come to a Slimming World group these days. After COVID, I don't think people have got the same amount of cash to spend on these things, whereas the older generation, I think, possibly don't have the same pressures. They're my thoughts anyway. I think Slimming World should concentrate on our age group, the ones that are more likely to go in. I was going to say let me know what you think in the comments, but I think I pretty much know what most people think. Having watched the videos, I say I was being very, very late to this journey. I am sort of dreading what they might change in the whole plan come January, but we'll have to see. I'm just going to carry on with my journey anyway. I don't care what they do. I've been doing this for quite a few months now, and I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing no matter what they do. We've got our community on YouTube now who want to stick to the old plans, and I noticed that Lisa and Rufus are going to step up and kind of fill in for us a bit with those of us that don't feel that we get to speak at group. And they are going to start up a Facebook page, which I will be joining, and Instagram, which I can't do unfortunately. And they do have their Losers Club on a Wednesday night, so if it did come to it and we had to give up group, or I had to give up group, I would make that my weekly group. And that would be, I think before they started doing those weekly Wednesday weigh-ins, I think I felt pretty much on my own doing Slimming World at home, because I've tried to do it at home before. And I think to have that on a Wednesday, which would be, well, it is like going to a group, that would make a massive difference to me if I was doing it from home. So let's see how it goes. That's my hopeful section, and I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that Slimming World will come to the senses. I'm hopeful that my consultant will change things to make it better. And I just hope everything will settle down. I want my old Slimming World back. That's what I want. Anyway, that's all the news. Thanks for watching. Take care for now. I'll see you next week, and I hope that you will see less of me. Take care. Bye then.